day. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you an awesome workout. It's a little bit advanced, but I think that you can pull it off. Especially exercise number 3 is a little bit advanced, but I'm also gonna show you a easy version of that exercise so you can use it and get started right away. So solution number 1, or in our case, exercise number 1, is the hand-to-hand swing. Matter of fact, if you have a kettlebell with you, get your couch out of the way, grab your kettlebell, make sure you can see me, and then you can follow me. I always love to do these so-called follow-along formats where I would teach you the exercise, and then you can follow me as well. So let me demonstrate the hand-to-hand swing first. Watch me. The beautiful thing about wearing ear pods is that you have to make a conscious effort to stay as focused as possible, not wiggle too much, so that they don't fall out of your ears. That's actually a great drill. Put your earbuds in and see if they don't fall to the floor. Then you're doing it properly. So let's check out the hand-to-hand swing. You place your kettlebell half a meter in front of you. Boom. Now, if I look down, I see that the kettlebell has a small distance to my feet. So what do we have to do in order to swing the kettlebell with our hips? We have to imagine that our arms are like hooks. I grab the kettlebell, but I don't move it. We human beings are handsy creatures. So everything that we grab, we think, okay, we have to move it with our arms. In this case, with the swing, we don't want to. So imagine with me, and you can follow me. We have an imaginary kettlebell in front of us. So I grab it. I pull the kettlebell into the backswing. Now my full arm connects with my body. Okay? We call this the arm-body connection, ABC. Now I extend my hips, just pushing my hips forward while keeping my arm connected. As soon as I reach full extension, boom, where I stand erect, this is where I lose connection. My arm loses connection from the body. The kettlebell travels. I'm grabbing it at the apex where gravity wants to do its thing and pull it back down. I grab it and switch hands. The kettlebell drops in my left hand. I'm waiting to reconnect with my body. ABC goes again. Now I'm pushing my hips back. And then I repeat that motion. One of the most crucial parts that you want to understand is the hinge. And we're going to practice this right now. So shoulder width stance, you stay right where you are. Now extend your arms right next to your body. Now push your hips back. If you need a cue, use your fingers and push them into that bony structure that you feel right here, which is your hip or your pelvis. Push it back. And now you should feel some tension in your hammies and in your glutes, in this part, your rear legs. Now when we come up, boom, tension. So this means when I'm on top, fully extended, my knees are extended and my hip is extended. What does that mean? I just stand erect, stacked on all joints. Let's try this again. Push your hips back, your upper body comes forward. Now do you feel that tension again? Then you're doing it right. Come back up. Let's check out one of the common mistakes that many people do, and that is they just lean forward. So the movement does not occur in your lower back or in your spine in that regard. The movement occurs in your hip. Imagine as if you want to close a car door with your butt. What are you doing? You're not leaning forward, you're pushing your hips back. That's the cue. You push your hips back. Or if this helps you, imagine like you want to do a vertical jump from where you're standing right now. What are you doing? You're hinging, okay? Pushing the hips back. Or the final cue that may help you is you want to sit down. What are you doing? Nobody's sitting down like this. We all sit down like this. We engage with the hip first. So let's jump back to the kettlebell and imagine now with that hinge motion, okay? We want to understand how the swing really works. It's a hinge motion per se. That's the beauty of it, and that's the secret. So now let's use just a couple of reps and then see, and we'll go from there. You ready? 10 reps in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mark the bell. So if after these 10 reps, your arms are tight, then you're moving the weight with your arm. Try to avoid this. It's not a row. It's not a high pull. It is a swing. Remember, we grab the kettlebell, but we don't move it. So that is the hand-to-hand swing. Let's jump into step number 3, solution number 3, tip number 3. I'm sorry, repeating so many times that I'm getting lost. Number 2, of course. Okay, solution number 2, tip number 2, exercise number 2. That is the bent row. Now, what is beautiful about the bent row is we have now learned the hinge, right? Remember? Pushing the hips back, upper body leans forward. Great. Now, let's use this movement pattern for a different exercise, which is the bent over row. So I'm pushing my hips back, it's the same thing, and then I'm just rowing. So watch me first as I demonstrate the exercise. So what is now happening is we're hinging, and we also have to bend our knees just a little bit because I want to reach down to the kettlebell. And depending on how long your legs are, it may be that you have to bend more than I have to. So don't confuse this. So let's try this. Now, different from the hand-to-hand swing, now we place the kettlebell approximately alongside the middle of our feet. So when I look down, the kettlebell or the handle is right placed between my legs or between my feet. So now I'm hinging. Try to follow me now. Again, we use an imaginary kettlebell. We don't use the kettlebell per se right now, an imaginary kettlebell. I grab it, and now I'm pulling my arm up, and nothing else is moving. This is the tricky part for beginners. Nothing is moving. You don't stand up. You don't bend your spine. You don't rock back and forth with your hips. You stand tight. Everything's tight. And you are just moving your right and left arm respectively. Now, I'm demonstrating you the exercise now with my left hand so you can see it better. I'm grabbing the weight so that my backhand is facing towards me. As I'm pulling the weight up, my palm, backhand, no, that's the palm, right? My palm is facing to the side or towards me now in that area, okay? So now the palm is facing me backwards, and as I'm pulling the weight up, the palm is facing sideways. That's the word I was looking for, okay? So watch me again. You pull it up, palm is facing sideways, and as I'm pulling my elbow close to my body, I should feel some tension in my back right here. If you don't worry about it. Maybe your kinesthetic sense is not as developed right now. Take some time. The idea is that you should feel it in this part of your body. This is that big back muscle. So now let's try it with the kettlebell. Whenever you're ready, let's start with the right hand first. We do 3 reps with the left side, at right side and 3 reps with the left side. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. You ready? 3, 2, 1. 1, 2. Switch sides. 1, 2. Park the bell, stand up. Now I can maybe already hear you saying, Gregory, cool, but I feel it here in my lower back, or I feel it in my legs. Totally fine. It's a little bit of a disadvantage from the row because we try to work the back, but at the end, it's a full body exercise because we feel the lower back. In that stance, we feel our legs. Don't worry about it. You're still working your back, but that's the beauty about the kettlebell. You almost work your full body. That's why I love this thing so much. Okay? So this is the bent over row. Now solution number 3, exercise number 3, tip number 3, the windmill. Okay, now we're gonna get a little bit fancy, but very important, please. I don't want to confuse you. If I'm confusing you, please yell it into the screen so I can hear it. It's so important because if we confuse it or we overcomplicate stuff, we rob ourselves from joy and we rob ourselves from, most importantly, consistency. So now let's check out the windmill. Let me demonstrate the tough version first, okay? The advanced version, and then we're gonna take a look at the easy version first, okay? So watch me. So that was the advanced version. Now let me show you with the same side, the easy version. Watch me. And as an important side note, before we jump into the windmill, maybe you hear my breathing patterns, this and that stuff, and you're like, wow, how do I have to breathe? Well, I believe breathing is highly important. I mentioned before, don't overcomplicate it, don't confuse it, breathe naturally. Forget how you hear me breathe. Now it's just all about the exercise. And once you've mastered the exercise, we can then always take a look at how breathing works, okay? So, let's check out the movement pattern of the windmill. What I like to do is I like to call it the deconstruction of complexity. I've learned this from my mentor, Steve Cotter. What does that mean? If you have a complex exercise like the windmill, we want to break it down into its phases so you understand how this exercise really works. And then if you make a mistake, you can come back to the phase and scrutinize the phase and be like, oh, this is where the mistake is, okay? Because most people just see this movement and they're like, okay, wow, now how do I have to do it? So let's start from the bottom. No weights, no nothing. Follow me. You stand shoulder width apart like I am right now. Now both of your feet, you turn them to the left side, about 30 degrees. Okay? If you watch me from the back, this is how it looks like in your case. Boom. Your feet are pointing to the left. Okay? So feet are pointing to the left. Now what's happening right now, as I'm facing you with the camera, it feels a little bit awkward, right? And maybe that's happening to you as well. You feel like, oh, there's something a little bit awkward right here. Yes, because you've switched your stance. So if I'm switching the stance, according to my feet, my body should supposed to look this way. Now it feels more natural. If I turn to you again, it's a little bit tight in here, so I have to face in a diagonal perspective or direction, right? So now what happens? Crucial point. I'm engaging in a side hinge. Remember from the first exercise when we were doing the hinge, Great. Now we do a side hinge. What does that mean? I'm not pushing the hips backwards. I'm pushing the hips sideways. Watch me again. You stand erect. Both of your feet are pointing to the left, approximately 30 degrees. Now you push your hips to the side. This is a side hinge. Angie also like to call this the Instagram pose. All right, you ladies maybe know this. If there's a couple of ladies out there in the chat, woohoo, yeah, you know this pose, right? So guys, it maybe feels a little awkward, but that's how we have to do it. So side hinge, boom. Remember, Instagram pose. Now, what's happening in my body now? I am now safeguarding my lower back. Now watch what I can do. I can rotate the upper part of my spine while the lower part of my spine, which is the weakest link in the chain, is locked. That's the idea. So as I'm engaging in a side hinge, watch me what I do and try to follow me. I now look towards the ceiling. And now my chest is facing towards you. Now my left hand or my left elbow, I put it inside my thighs. And now I can use some resistance and some resistance from my leg. And now I can even rotate a little bit further. So now I look to the ceiling and now I extend my arm. This is the low position of the windmill if I have the hand in the top fixation overhead. Okay? So from this position, I'll come back up. Looking sideways again into that diagonal position. Now let me just turn around real quick so you can follow me and see what you're supposed to be doing. Shoulder width stance. Now place both of your feet to the left side approximately 30 degrees. Now I'm looking towards that diagonal perspective. You follow me? Now, push your hips to the side. And as you can see, I'm bending my knees a little bit. You don't have to keep them locked. Keep them loose a little bit. Soft knees. Unlock them. Now I rotate my body, my chest to the mirror now to the front. I bring my left elbow inside my thigh and my right arm extends to the ceiling. And sorry if I always have to move my ear pods in my head. I don't want them to fall down. You don't have to do this. Now extend your left arm as well. And now watch what this looks like. This looks like a windmill. And now I come back up. Boom. And I'm facing that side again. Now, I'm assuming that we have people in the chat who are picking up the kettlebell for the first time. And I always like to talk to you guys first. The advanced folks know what's up. So now let's grab the weight with our left hand. You grab it, boom. Now my thumb and my palm, excuse me, is facing towards my stomach. Now let's do this. Turn your feet to the left side. Engage in the side hinge, rotate the bell. So now my backhand is pointing towards my thighs. Now I extend my arm and I move down. And as soon as the kettlebell touches the ground, this is where we finish. And now we come back up. Rotating the kettlebell in the palm towards the stomach again. Try this again. One more. Put it down. Now the way I did it in the advanced version is racking, pressing overhead, and then engaging into the windmill. If you already know how this works, try it. But now out of time restraints, we don't want to look at this overhead version now. We just want to use the lower hand version, the low windmill in that regard. And if you're doing it right, you should feel some tension in your hamstrings and in your sides, okay? Great. Now, these three exercises, ladies and gentlemen, let's put them together into a little workout. Because, hey, why not move a little bit? Oops, Gypsy got scared right here. Gypsy's a little scared, right, boy? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is I'm giving you a simple and easy workout, which is so powerful. And this system is so powerful that I want you to use it on a regular basis. And that is, we're going to do 1 minute hand-to-hand swing. You see the big timer with the 0 behind me? This is the timer. So we're going to engage in 1 minute of a hand-to-hand swing. After we finish the 1 minute hand-to-hand swing, we put the kettlebell down and then we rest a little. With rest, I mean you loosen up a little bit. Okay? We want to relax the muscles because if we have relaxed muscles, blood can flow through the muscles way better than if we are tight. So we relax a little, breathe, relax, boom. And then we're going to engage into a bent row, bent over row. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set the timer then for 1 minute again. We're going to do a bent over row with the left side for 30 seconds and then with the right side for 30 seconds. Then we put the kettlebell down again, we relax, blah, blah, blah. And then exercise number 3, the windmill, we do the same as with the bent over row. We split the volume equally between left and right for 1 minute. Okay? Great. So whenever you guys are ready, and gals, grab your kettlebells. Hand-to-hand swing in 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Matter of fact, if you have to put the kettlebell down and you're not able to manage the 1 minute, don't worry about it. Put it down. Other than that, try to keep working. Use your full body. Think about the hinge. Push your hips back. Then extend the hips forward. You probably watch me and you're like, hey, Gregory, what kind of grip are you using? Mine. The typical grip. I don't want to confuse you folks. So watch me how I'm swinging it. With the so-called, we call this the front hand. Couple more seconds. Put the kettlebell down, park it. Now, relax a little bit. Take a sip of water if you have to stay hydrated. Relax. Loosen your body. Relax. Relax. Awesome. Get ready for the bent over row. In 3, 2, 1. Right? 30 seconds with the left side. Let's do it. Use tension now. Try to keep your body as tight as possible. Costs a little bit more energy. But for this exercise, we want to engage into high tension. Switching sides now. Other side, get ready. Couple of more. Last one. Now stand up. You probably feel some tension in your lower back. That's totally normal. Now relax. Whew. Loosen up that body. Loosen up your arms. Loosen up your legs. And keep breathing normally, naturally, the way your body's telling you how to breathe. We always believe in the mantra where we say, listen to your body and trust your inner signals. Sometimes the inner signals are just a little bit obfuscated. There's a lot of fog, but once we clear the fog, our signals are able to send again, and then we can listen properly. Final exercise, ladies and gentlemen, the windmill. Low windmill. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Grab it. Point your feet to the left. Right arm to the ceiling. Now, side hinge. Rotate your chest to the front. Come back up. Breathe out. Make sure that right arm stays extended. Do not bend it. Unless you have to correct your earbuds. One more. Now switch hands. Your feet are now pointing to the right side. Left arm to the ceiling. Same. Well, I can feel those hips from my workout. Whoa! Ha ha! I love this. I love this feeling. It tells your body that you're alive. One more. Put it down. Relax. Boom. So here you go. What you have now seen is a powerful workout. 3 exercises. We did the swing for 1 minute, the bent over row for 1 minute, and the windmill for 1 minute. Combined, this is 3 minutes of volume. Now, you may be breathing. You're like, wow, that's awesome, but I'm breathing. So no worry. Now you take a breather, a couple of seconds, or maybe a minute or two, and then you get back at it, and then you do a couple of rounds, and there you go. You got yourself a wonderful, beautiful, and powerful workout that touches all bases. And one thing that I want to hammer home, a very important point that I just mentioned in one of my recent videos is start your kettlebell journey now. And if you have already started, keep going. I'd like to mention this powerful mantra from my mentor, Dan John, anytime I get the chance to do it. And that is my mentor, Dan John, shared with me. There's 2 secrets to success. Number 1 is to start doing, and number 2 is to keep going. And then Dan John follows up with, most people don't keep going. So consistency is the key to success. And in today's political climate that we live in right now, I want to highly advise you and even command you at this point to take your fitness matters into your own hands. Do not make it dependent upon a gym chain, upon a coach, or upon anything else. Make it dependent upon you. Buy yourself one of these. And why am I saying this? Because everybody jumped on these things in 2020 when the pandemic broke out, because they were like, wow, I need something to lift. Why didn't everybody jump on dumbbells or barbells? Because they realized this thing gives you the most bang for your buck because it touches all bases of human performance. Nothing wrong with a dumbbell or a barbell, but a kettlebell touches more basis of human performance at the same time. It gives us so much bang for your buck. That's why I'm telling you, and I'm all even spitting into the camera as I'm holding this Braveheart speech, to start your kettlebell journey now, because if something bad is happening down the line in this current time that we live in, because we live in crazy times, at least you can stay strong, stay fit, stay fast, stay healthy, stay stress-free, or have a valve where you can release the stress in your brain with movement, because the kettlebell is so awesome in relieving stress. It's such a beautiful thing for a healthy mind. That's why you have to grab one, because we don't know what happens down the line. And you want to make sure that you are prepared, right? Going into the battle is important, but being prepared to go to battle is even more important. So